here we are on Canvey Island, an island on the south of Essex, in the Thames estuary. There's nothing too special about it. The beaches aren't anything to write home about either. There's a large sea wall, a bit of industry along the seafront. But overall it's an okay place to come if you want a day by the sea. There's a couple of items that we shall see of interest. The first is this Occidental jetty, which was going to take oil from tankers to a planned oil refinery which never happened. The jetty remains. You can do a nice walk to it through a little bit of a nature reserve, and then you can walk all along the sea walls and down through some grassy area along the front, and it's quite a nice walk. I've done it. If you want to spend a couple of hours with a nice breeze on a nice day, it's a fun little walk. Another item we shall see is a small Dutch cottage from the early 17th century. The island has a history of Dutch settlers going back, and they in the 17th century helped to maintain the sea walls and sea defences so that the island wouldn't flood. So apart from that, there's a couple of other things on Canvey, but most people come to Canvey to either buy a used car or to visit the beach. We though shall talk about the experiences of owning the Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650. I have owned the Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650 in interstellar green for just over 3 months now, and have ridden a total of 850 miles. I am really pleased I purchased the Super Meteor. I did think about getting a shotgun 650, but after riding it while my Super Meteor was in for its first service, I feel like I made the right decision for me. From watching videos on the internet, I was certain I would be purchasing a shotgun once I had passed my test. However, sitting on one, and then sitting on the Super Meteor with touring seat, there was no competition. I just felt at home on the bike. I am a big guy and I just fitted better. It was like sinking into a big comfy chair compared to being perched on a hard bench. Don't get me wrong, the shotgun is a lovely bike with a great modern look while maintaining a retro character. I love the blacked out look. It is a lot of fun to ride, but for me it isn't comfortable enough for on long rides. In the end, all the videos and pictures on the internet can help, but only sitting on a bike and riding it can you tell whether it is right for you, whether your body suits it, whether you can tolerate things about it that others may not worry about. My Super Meteor came with some modifications from the dealership. The windscreen was added, and so was the touring seat with passenger backrest. This essentially upgraded it to the celestial version of the Super Meteor. I wanted these features and would have purchased a red celestial version, but the red in person wasn't as nice as the red in pictures. I had loved the interstellar green version since I first saw the Super Meteor, and it happened to be the version they had upgraded. The tank emblem badges are just such beautiful pieces. The colour combination of green, gold and black goes so well together. And the final accessory they had added were the black, glossy, long haul panniers. I had planned to purchase these anyway as they looked good and were useful to have. I have done a video talking about them, but here I'll just say that they are useful for a few spare items and clothes, but I wouldn't go away for a trip without taking a bag still. I also purchased some genuine Royal Enfield accessories through the internet, which I added onto the bike myself. First were the deluxe foot pegs. While I've only installed the rider ones so far, they are an essential upgrade, I believe. Being wider, they allow for a more comfortable ride and more foot positions while riding. They are quite easy to install, as long as you remember which way the little spring goes in them. It's maybe a 5-minute job, as long as you have the circlip pliers and you know what you're doing. The good thing about Royal Enfield is, on the box there's a QR code which you can scan, and it takes you to a video of how to install the accessories. Another accessory which I purchased was the black sump guard. This was a little more fiddly to install. Probably should have done it as a 2-person job. There's a long bolt you have to get through, and has a washer and the head of a bolt you have to turn simultaneously on opposite sides of the bike. That would have been useful to have a second person. While it doesn't stop dirt getting into the area, it does tidy the bike up, I think. I also purchased an oil filler cap. I couldn't decide between silver or black, but after looking at the bike for a few weeks I decided silver worked best in that area of the engine. I did purchase one aftermarket accessory, which was the Ultimate Add-ons clip-on heated grips. They do a decent job, but I think for next year I will get proper heated grips installed so that the entire grip gets hot. Having the tips of fingers and thumbs frozen while palms were warm wasn't the best, but it was better than nothing, and I certainly wouldn't have ridden as much this winter without them. Other modifications I considered but haven't done yet are getting a Royal Enfield compact engine guards in black, the touring mirrors, and also the silver handlebar clamp. Before I purchased the Super Meteor and still owned the Keyway V-Cruise, I was determined to strip all the chrome hardware on the Super Meteor and replace it with black, just like on the shotgun and Keyway. However, the chrome has grown on me. It has the right amount of chrome. I've said elsewhere that I think there are too many different shades of silver and black going on with the bike, and in time I may upgrade some parts to black, as I liked a couple of items while using the shotgun, but for now I am happy with chrome mirrors and exhaust. There are a couple of aftermarket parts that I'm thinking of getting as well. At some point I'd like to get some handlebar risers, probably also the RS Tech belt conversion kit, but that's a slightly bigger and more involved conversion. I'd also like to install the USB socket that Hitchcocks sell that runs off the accessory plug in the headlight. This would give a far more accessible and usable USB socket than the one hidden away. I've seen that many have upgraded the suspension. They feel it doesn't do a good enough job, but on setting number 3 I haven't had any problems, apart from hitting some really big bumps. However, my decision may change as I do longer journeys. The Super Meteor itself has forward controls. For me they are perfect for my height. I have no complaints here. The brake pedal is a nice size. The gears, however, well, you get a lot of false neutrals or it not quite going into gear. Oftentimes it also gets stuck in second and won't find neutral or first. That is then fun trying to pull away without stalling. Maybe it's something that needs adjusting, or maybe it's a problem with the gearbox. I don't know. Do others have this issue? The brakes have enough stopping power. I never felt like there was a time I wasn't going to stop, a corner I'd overshoot, or a manoeuvre I couldn't pull out of. I don't believe that I've had the ABS kick in yet either. I rode all through winter except for when it was really snowy or icy, and the bike handled well, sticking to the road and stopping, though of course I didn't push it hard. It is a heavy bike. I wouldn't like to push it if it was stuck somewhere out of fuel. I have a slope up to the garage, and the Keyway you could push up the slope quite easily. The Super Meteor there is no way it can be pushed up this slope. It was also a struggle to turn it in a front garden where the keyway turned quite easily. But that is because everything is solidly built on the Super Meteor. There is nothing that feels nor looks cheap on the bike. You aren't afraid that things are going to break or fall apart on you. The build quality so far appears good, and I have hopes that the bike should last a long time. Time will tell though. The shotgun, I felt myself leaning more forwards, tucked in a bit, adding to the more sporty character of the bike. The riding experience is relaxed. It can go when you open the throttle up, but it isn't a flung backwards, hold on for dear life type of power. It builds and is more refined. Interestingly though, the shotgun I tried felt faster and a more raw, aggressive experience. Had more of a playful, fun character, although Super Meteor does provide a lot of fun. It's more of a generally plodding along, viewing the countryside, feeling relaxed type feel. You are in a nice upright position on the Super Meteor. Sometimes I even find myself leaning slightly back. But importantly, it is comfortable and I am not cramped or in pain on long rides. The shotgun, I felt myself leaning more forward, adding to the sporty character of the bike. On long journeys, I feel the position of all the controls on the Super Meteor, coupled with the touring seat, will be more comfortable for me and allow me to enjoy the ride more. There are some negatives though. The windscreen, for example. It does a great job at keeping wind off the body. I have definitely felt its benefits, especially after experiencing the full force of wind pushing me backwards on the shotgun at 70 miles an hour. But it has a tendency to just push the wind up into your face, making for a more noisy experience. Also, when I have my sun visor up and my glasses are on, they are being wobbled about by the wind, which can make focusing a bit of an issue. If you are shorter than my 6'2" frame, it may not be such an issue. Will I take the screen off? Maybe just to see what the bike looks like without one. But I still think despite the wind blasting into your face, the positives outweigh the negative. Talking of noise, I am disappointed by the exhaust on the Super Meteor. They're a little too quiet. When you open it up it makes a nice enough noise, but it would be nice to have a bit of a burble when you are cruising along. The Shotgun 650 I rode had no baffles in its exhaust, and that was ridiculously loud. But there are aftermarket exhausts I have seen and heard that may suit my needs. In time maybe they'll be added to the upgrades list. One thing that initially attracted me to the Royal Enfield was the tripper navigation system. However, it is something I've never used. I've tried it maybe twice, I think, in 3 months. I like to explore and visit places, which is why I was attracted to it. And in future, when I go further afield from home, I may use it more. But it is funny how something that you were sure was a major selling point and a must-have turns out to be something that isn't used. So overall, the bike looks good and rides nicely. It is a good option for commuting, especially with the panniers. But it allows for some fun in the twisty roads and can cope with 70-mile-an-hour A roads and motorways. It is a brilliant all-rounder. Do I plan on ever purchasing another bike? At the moment I have no plans due to funds and lack of space to keep a second one. But in time, who knows? Maybe I'll go for a different make, or maybe a different Enfield. Maybe something will come along that just wows me enough to make a purchase. Never say never. But if I had to have just one bike for life, out of all the bikes that are seen that are a style I like and a price I can afford, then the Super Meteor wins. After 850 miles of using the Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650 in all weather conditions and on many types of roads, I can say that I am very happy with my purchase and look forward to many miles of fun and enjoyment on the road. So thanks for watching. What do you think of the Super Meteor? Or do you have any questions you'd like answered? Let me know. As always, stay safe and have fun.